Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a good day here today. We've seen a wide variety of speakers and presentations, and mine is maybe a little bit, a wee bit different from Jonathan's in that it's not as technical. Sorry, I'm just having a wee bit of trouble getting this. We're going. Okay. So, just to introduce myself, my name is David Mullen. I'm the Managing Director of Engineering Documentation Limited. We're a company based in Sligo, and we provide mechanical and electrical BIM support to contractors and engineers. My background is in mechanical engineering, and I worked with a mechanical contractor for a number of years before I set up EngDoc, and I suppose we set up the company primarily to look at O&Ms, and a big part of O&Ms are drawings and accurate drawings. And by virtue of the fact that we were working with a lot of mechanical and electrical companies, we were asked to do different things. We were asked to do as-built drawings. We were asked to do coordination drawings, builders work drawings, sectional drawings. And whatever we were asked to do, I was game for it, because drawing was my thing. When I came out of secondary school, I liked technical drawing, and I tried to bring that with me through my college education and into my professional career. So we're nearly 20 years on. I'm very happy to say now that engineering documentation is, I suppose, a fully fledged BIM company. We sort of pushed back the documentation because the volume of drawing that has happened over the last 10 years has just been phenomenal. Our company has grown from, two guys working in a bedroom to a company of 30 people now, doing projects all over right throughout the country, throughout Europe and beyond. And when we started coming to shows like this, or you go on a training course, somebody will always ask you, well, what's your unique selling point, and how would you define your company? And it took me a long number of years to get something that I was comfortable with. And when I finally settled on it, if somebody was to describe our company as providing hands-on practical BIM, I'd be very satisfied with that. So, excuse me, just a bit of a timeline of the company and how we've ended up where we are, and talking about what we're going to talk about today, which is a little bit of education in the industry. As I said, I set up in 2006. Great time to set up a company. There was loads of work around. One job led to another. Word of mouth was brilliant. But very quickly in 2009, problems happened. And I always remember looking at my invoice spreadsheet in February 2009, and there wasn't a hell of a lot written on it. And I knew there was problems. You were hearing on the radio there was a recession coming, and it didn't quite hit home for us until that month, and we knew we had to do something. We didn't know, we hoped it was going to be a blip. We didn't know if it was going to be 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years. Some people were talking about 7 years. But we knew we had to do something if we were going to come out the other side of it in one piece. And we tried a lot of things. We tried tendering for work in different jurisdictions. We did work in the UK. We did a lot of work in the Middle East at the time. We tried looking at various other options in terms of maybe where we could do work, so maybe in the pharmaceutical industry, industries outside of construction. But everybody was suffering, so that wasn't getting us traction. But the one thing that we did do that provided a long-lasting difference to the company was we started drawing in 3D. And as I mentioned, I'm a mechanical engineer and I'd worked with a contractor, so we started experimenting with Revit, and we started drawing a boiler house. And anybody that knows their services will know that boiler houses are notoriously difficult to give a good, clear, concise, crisp drawing, which is why we always fall back to schematics. But to give a good layout, be it a plan, section, elevation, is very, very difficult. And that's where we started. And one thing led to another. We started applying this then in the work that we were doing. So we would have a 2D coordination job, and we took the 2D CAD drawings, we modelled just between the ceiling and the slab, just modelled the void, and we modelled the surfaces. And again, we were just drawing in 3D, and to us it was 3D drawing. Now I've avoided the 3-letter acronym of why we're all here today, and the very simple reason for that is I didn't know about that. And it was only through coming to conferences like this and talks like this that we saw there was a big industry behind it. So I suppose that's where the company started. And as we emerged then from the recession, what we then look back on as our start of BIM implementation in 2009 forced us to get the business side of the company in order. So we got our ISO 9001, the quality, health and safety and environmental in 2015. The next year we were certified as an Autodesk training and testing centre. And that was the start. That was the start of this role and this little bit of education and trying to get that implemented into the industry. And probably the star in the chest there is 15 years after we started the company, we got certified for the 19650, which is something that, as a company owner, I'm immensely proud of, and I'm immensely proud of the people that are with the company that were able to get that over the line. So then, the highlight of this year was an award we won in Sligo. It was the SkillNet Regional Excellence Award, and we won it for training. And it was a competition I was reluctant to enter into. And the lady in the SkillNets in Sligo, who has supported us as of CitA right through the years, persuaded me to do it. And I was very, very close in. And sometimes when you're very close in, you can't see the development that a company is taking. But she could see that we were using the likes of CitA, we're using the Sligo SkillNets to bring training into our guys. We're getting guys in from Dublin, from the UK, from Cork to give us training. But we were playing the other side of the fence as well, because we were given training in the Autodesk products. So she could see there was something happening here, and maybe there was a story to tell. And it was through telling that story that we were able to step back and see this little thing happening that we call it a culture of training. Very, very small and unconscious in its development, but something that we thought we could nurture this and we can bring it to give rewards to the company. So what is this culture of training? Now, all of this is my opinion. There's nothing based on fact here at all, so we can argue the toss at the end of it. But I would suggest that every company has a reputation, be it good, bad or indifferent, and that reputation has an impact on the type of employees that want to work for that company. And we've been very lucky over the years with the type of people that have worked with us. Whether they stay for 2 years or 10 years, some of the people that are coming in, they're hungry and they want to learn. And I've always tried to facilitate that with the guys and girls that we have. And we've tried to bring in training and we've tried to educate. And I'm a very firm believer in education. Not just necessarily the formal education, but the smaller little bits of it that we do as well, the little courses and days like today. So we've tried to do that. And as a company does that, it gets known as a place that you can come in and you can develop your own career and also bring the company forward. And it gets known as a bit of a learning company, and that improves the reputation and therefore it improves the type of people that would come into the company. And I would suggest that knowledge has a value. So I would class myself as a learning person. I love learning different things, be it in work up in the drawing office, be it at home reading books or playing music or whatever. I probably get bored easy, but it's something that I like is learning new stuff. And I would view the training culture as part of the compensation package for people in the company. Now you would say that as a business owner, but that's my take on it anyways. And then, all things being equal, businesses will attract people whose values would match the reputation of the company. So the talent gap, well, I suppose we've been in business almost 20 years, and the challenge of recruiting and filling this talent gap has always been there. It's changed an awful lot over those 15 or 20 years. And for a number of reasons, it's changed. Number one, we've changed as a company. We've gone from a company that was primarily dealing with documentation to a company that's now exclusively dealing with drawing. So the type of person that we're looking for now is very different to that we're looking for 15 years ago. I think the industry that we're in is relatively new as well and relatively niche. And we're seeing third level colleges come out developing courses, but also trying to fine tune them and then get people through them. So into a 3-year process, and we have to wait down the line. And my personal experience is, and again, it's only my own personal experience from a company based in the northwest of Ireland, we're not seeing work-ready, we call them qualified people, coming out of these BIM courses in numbers that can satisfy the demand at the minute. So there's a shortage, but there's also a gap as well. And it's been something that's forced us to be creative in how we recruit. And it's forced us to look at who we are recruiting and how qualified we need these people to be. Do we need them to have a master's in BIM? Well, it would be nice if they knew what they were doing and they could hit the ground running, but that's not happening at the minute, and it's not possible with again in Sligo at the minute. So we're having to be creative, and we're bringing people in from childcare. Say a lady who would have done drawings 15, 20 years ago, gone off, had a family, worked in childcare, needed a job, and she came in for an interview as an admin position. And I said, do you have any technical experience? And she said, well, I did CAD for Skoda 20 years ago. And I thought, well, why are you applying for the admin position? And I had to convince her. And she's brilliant. And we've had guys coming in from doing bar work, just needing a chance, and we gave them a chance, and they've been brilliant. Because we're applying our own training in it. We're not leaving them alone, but we're bringing them in and we're training it. And some of the best people that we have haven't come the traditional route. But what it's allowed us to do is be a little bit more diverse in the type of person that we're bringing in. And I think it was Simon and Bam might have said it earlier on, that you need people coming in not just to do the job, but to be a little bit creative, a little bit of a problem solver. And it gives us those opportunities. It provides opportunities for second level students and also for third level students that may drop out along the way, and the college's loss can be our gain if we play our cards right. But for this approach to work, I suppose we have to be quite structured in how we're applying it and how we're bringing people in. So from recruitment, we would bring people in before they go into the drawing office at all. They would do a couple of weeks of training. So they would do their fundamental training in Revit or CAD or whatever they're going to do. And then we put them back up into the drawing office so they get their experience. And we can't fast forward experience. It just has to be done. Then we'll bring them back and we'll give them advanced training and we'll start them on their path. And we're using the Autodesk Certified User exams as a way of benchmarking the progress. So after 3 months, somebody should be able to sit the Certified User exam and pass it very, very comfortably. 6 months down the line, they should be able to do the same with the professional. It's a harder exam, it's a different type of exam, but it gives them a benchmark. It gives me the knowledge that the people are coming in and they know their stuff. It gives them the confidence to see that they're learning constantly. And then the little bit of a twist that we've done is we've encouraged the guys and girls who are coming in and they've got a couple of years experience to start giving back in to the next batch of recruits. So we use a course, a train the trainer course, which whether you're going to go into formal training or not, because if you're not, you're still going to be sitting with somebody and mentoring somebody, and it is a type of a training. And everybody learns in a different way. So what this course has been able to do is teach our guys maybe not how to be a teacher, but to respect the way that different people will learn and to be able to bring them on either through a formal course or an informal mentoring side of things. And then for the people who have the desire to go on to be certified as an Autodesk trainer, we would encourage that as well. The last one on the ribbon, I think it was called a ribbon of progression or something when I downloaded the graphic, but the last one is the Building Smart certification, and that was something that Alan suggested to us earlier on this year and something that we've put our BIM leads through. And what that does is we've already got the technical side of things now from the software training. The Building Smart certification gives us a wee bit of the background to the 19650, not just as a company, but as an individual. And when you come out the other side of that path, it's not a 2-month path, it's a 2, 3, 4 year path. But when you come out the other side of that, I'm really comfortable having that person go out working on a site because I know they know their stuff. What it's also allowed us to do is to cut the time between bringing a new recruit from zero up to being really useful to about 3 months. Typically for us, it used to take us about 6 months before they were useful. Now we squeeze that. I'd love to squeeze it to 2 months, but I think it might be a little bit unfair. But 3 months is good for us because we don't have 6 months to be sitting around waiting for people to come of skill. The benefits, if this top benefit is the only benefit, I'm happy with that, but it enables people without the traditional qualification access to an industry that they would otherwise have been excluded from. And for the 2 examples I gave, the lady who had come out of childcare and the guy that had come out of the bar, when they came in and you see them working on big jobs, on your TC1, David, they're working on that and they're running the job. From someone that has come from no skill 2 years previous, the pride that gives me when you see that, it's really immense. It keeps employees learning and engaged, even at a senior level, because we try and keep everything going. We try and keep people from getting bored. It encourages employees to act as good examples to the new recruits. It's like a child running around. If the child sees a good example, you'd like to think that the child would follow the good example. And above all, none of this is complicated. Nothing that was on that ribbon is complicated. It's all very, very straightforward, and it's all reasonably affordable. Just to finish up, and by means of a close, some of the resources that we've used, and again, we started nearly 20 years ago, and it's only by coming to shows like this and gatherings like this that we learn. Would have been great to know this 20 years ago, but the likes of CitA and SkillNets have been a huge help. We got our first training funded through CitA for Revit, and it was something that we couldn't afford at the time. CitA made it affordable to us. The local ETBs and LEOs, when we were smaller, the LEOs were a great help. Now it's the ETBs that we're touching in Sligo for a few pound. And the likes of the trainer course, where we'd have quite happily paid £1,000 to send somebody on a trainer course a couple of years ago. Through the Skills to Advance, they're fully funding that. So there's stuff out there that's really, really beneficial to companies that are trying to provide training. And with that type of support, there's no excuse for not doing training. It's as simple as that. And finally, word of mouth. It again, like I said, I didn't know what BIM was, what it stood for, until I started coming to these little gatherings and shows and that. And it's through talking to people. And I think when we come to an event like this, if we go home with 1 or 2 items that you say, I want to try that in the office next week, that's good enough. So hopefully everybody will pick up a little something today. And thank you very much.